Welcome back to the ministry. And the Lord gave me this revelation, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Most people are not willing to do the work. I feel like a broken record when I talk about this. Okay? Most people aren't willing to do the work. One of my favorite statements is this: you have to be willing to do the work that others won't do to get a result that others will not achieve. Okay? Most people are not willing to do the work, plain and simple. Why? Because it means that you must look at yourself to do a deep dive of what you did wrong in order for you to receive the understanding of what needs to change in order to do correctly. You can be a person that is willing to do the work all day long, but if you're not involved with somebody that's willing to do the work as well, just like I said in my previous word, you're going to be like a compass circling around and around that other person that's sitting still and not doing nothing. And until you get tired and getting dizzy going around the same cycles, you're not going to change. But the individual that's choosing to stay in the same cycle, that individual, let me tell you why they don't want to change. Because one, it takes work. Because two, that there is a lesson that would be needed to be learned. Every time you go into that lesson, you're choosing to repeat the lesson over and over again. Have you ever taken an exam on a computer, and when you took it, if the computer glitched while you were taking a certain section of the exam, that meant you had to do that part of the exam over again? Or worse, you were working on something, right? And the thing that you were working on, you wrote an entire chapter, wrote an entire piece of content, wrote the entire thing out. It shuts down and you have to start all over again. When you start all over again, you're going to have to go through that exact same cycle over again. Now, you changed. Why did you change? Because you already went through the work. You already went through the cycle. You already went through the experience. So you're not going to look at that experience in the exact same perspective as you looked at it the previous time, right? But the person that chooses not to recognize that element is going to keep going around in the similar cycle, or choose to just ignore the fact that this cycle is happening while you're recognizing it and you're like, okay, I'm doing the work. Why are you not? You understand? I'm doing the inner work. Why are you not doing the inner work? Okay, I realize that you're not working with me. So because you're not working with me, I got to separate myself from the situation, because I did an entire video and I did an entire podcast talking about this. It should be the video I did talking about forgiveness, and then it was another video I did on self-awareness. And in both of these videos, it was I was recapping a review of the TV series Law and Order SVU, and it was the Organized Crime Division version. And it was their season finale that night. And I talked about the reason why people will bleed all over somebody else. Because what they're doing is the fact that, and I had this revelation this morning, it's like a person, and this may seem graphic to you, it's like a person driving an 18-wheeler, desiring to run you over with it. They're running you over with it because they're not willing to check them 18 wheels and do the work to no longer be running you over with it. And then once they run you over with it, as many times as they wanted to run you over with it, they pull up, back up to you, and dump all their junk on top of you. Now, if you consciously thought about that, would you actually allow that individual to do that? No. But most people just look at an individual and be like, oh, he cute. Oh, she cute. Oh, she got that body. Oh, he got that abs. Oh, he's fine in the face. I can get with that. Tell me I'm lying. And then when it comes to other relationships, the same thing. You see this person dressed well. They came for a business interview. Y'all are thinking about becoming business partners. They look like they're put together. And they'll do the same thing. But guess what? They're going to do it to your business this time. They're going to run your business over with 18 wheels and then dump their stuff on top of you. You know that person? You know that person. They come in thinking that they can take control over your business. If you wanted your business, go have your own business. But don't come into my business. Okay. So you got to learn a lesson in having that individual in your environment in life. But you know how you can learn differently? Put the person to God in the first place. Go sit, have a 24-hour consecration, a 36-hour consecration, 48 hours, 3 days, depending on how important the decision is that you need to be making before the Lord. He'll tell you. He'll show you. Perfect example. Recently, there was a woman that came into contact with me. We were both Christian. It was wonderful and all of this. But I had to take her to the Lord because I was like, I love the relationship that we're developing, but if this is not what you want, then I'm going to need for you to sever it before I get too attached. And I said that on a Sunday. I saw her the next time on a Tuesday, and by Tuesday afternoon, she was fussing me out and saying that she didn't want to deal with me no more. And I believe that was God's doing. Why? Because he did what I asked him to do. Now, the thing that I never really understand why God does it that way is he makes it like an irreparable split. I'm like, couldn't you just say, couldn't we have a camaraderie moment of an amicable separation instead of being like, why you fussing me out and then I don't know what you did? He does that often. I'm like, why did it have to be like that though? Leaving the person and the individual feeling a little hurt because you're like, it had to be like that. Couldn't it just been amicable? Can we discuss this with Jesus? Because it's happened to me several times over. That's exactly how he did it. I pray for a separation if it's not supposed to be there, and it blows up in my face. I'm like, couldn't you just have had us not have a conversation and say that we no longer wanted to be associated with each other? I mean, why did it have to be like a bomb blowing up in my face? What? It happens. Point being, situations and scenarios are this. Sometimes I believe God allows it to be that way because he needed it to blow up then instead of y'all feeling sad and sorrowful or getting too attached and then it blow up later and then you like, now I done spent all this time with the individual. Let it blow up all at once right now. Who knows? Anyway, when it comes to relationship and situations and scenarios, that there is a safety mechanism of protection we have from previous relationship, previous experience. Perfect example, what I just said. I've had people several times blow up in my face like that, and I didn't know why. And I knew I had either prayed about it or I'd been praying about some other things that I needed to come in order. And because the season for them to go was then, it starts blowing up in your face. So when it starts blowing up in your face and you're like, why couldn't it just been more amicable? can we just have had a peaceful? But God has to make it that way so that it's irreparable. He needs it to be irreparable. He needs that wound to be there so that he can sit there and deal with you. Yes, God is a graceful God. But if the wound doesn't hurt, you're not going to ask for the antidote. Think about that. If it did not injure you to a point where you felt the knife cut you, you're not going to go to the healer and ask for the healing. Meaning, what did I do? Why did that occur that way? Most people have experiences like that, and they just continue to have experience after experience after experience after experience. And then they become bitter, and they become resentful, or worse, they deal with internal pride, which makes them put a face forward, but internally be just toxic. This is where you'll see vanity come in. This is where you'll see the spirits of Jesse and Levi come in. And people don't even know it because they subtly came in out from under that bitterness and those things. Because see, people don't realize, getting back to the point that I made in the video that I talked about, the simplicity, I believe it's a short, the simple revelation God gave me about the counterfeit. They had their season, now it's yours. That individual was there for one reason and one reason only. And the Lord brought me to that revelation, oddly enough, because I was thinking about the relationship between two of the characters on SVU. The man had been married to his wife for 20 some odd years, but she passed away. And now he's reconciled his relationship back with his old partner, which was his police partner. And he knows what he wants with her. It's her season. The season that he had with the other one, the woman that he bore children with, the one that he was with for 22 years through ups, downs, and all of that. It doesn't mean that that relationship didn't mean nothing or it was a wrong relationship. It was just the relationship he was meant to have during that season. He learned certain lessons. He experienced certain things. He reared his children throughout that experience. But now it's a different season. And it's time for this relationship to transpire. Somebody brought up this great point. Isaac went through a loss before he married Rebecca. Some of your God-ordained spouses went through some type of loss, whether it was a person, a place, or a situation. And you're coming in to help them heal from that pain. What happens is some of us get overzealous. And if any of y'all saw any of my previous videos, take it to the understanding of what God was showing me during that season, in that moment, when I was learning that sometimes the words are only relevant for one individual at one particular point in time. It's not for everybody, and it's not blanketed. Okay? So with that being said, you have to understand there are people that are not supposed to remain, and they'll hold on trying to make you go through a lesson with them over and over and over again. It's like, wait, you're no longer going to keep coming around the circle no more? What you mean? You're not going to keep coming around this circle no more? I like watching you walk around in this circle again. It's funny, you realize there's some people that just get off on it. It's like, oh, he walking around the circle again. Oh, she walking around the circle again. They gonna get back and they ain't going nowhere. And they get comfortable with the fact that you ain't going nowhere. They do. They get really comfortable with the fact that you have not left. And it's like, oh, they ain't going nowhere. They gonna go around this circle again. And then they gonna go around again. And then, but that point when they realize that you stopped walking around the circle and you walked straight away from that situation, it's like, hold up, what you mean you really leaving this thing? You really leave? Yeah, because they learned the lesson. They understood what they were supposed to get out of that season, in that moment, and in that time, and now they can leave. Just like a lot of you. Some of you are in seasons right now where the Lord's telling you it's time to go. It's time to leave that situation. It's time to leave that season. You've elevated past this moment. You're either waiting for your deliverance. You're waiting for the person that's supposed to help you get out of this situation. The opening for the place you're supposed to go to in order for you to get into your new situation. Or the situation or scenario, meaning finances, that are going to help elevate you and move you into your next situation. To open the door for you to get there. But a lot of people, have you ever noticed that when you start to move towards what it is that God's calling you, you're ready to leave the season? God shows you, and then they start acting up. It's like, why are you acting up? What's wrong? Why are we having this issue? Because you're supposed to leave the season. They start acting up to show you you're supposed to leave the season. You've become too comfortable in this place, and you're not going to move past it if I don't make this season unbearably uncomfortable. Because that's what it takes to get you to leave. It's funny, I was listening to Tasha Cobb's clip, and it was somebody got on the elevator with me yesterday, and they were listening to it, and they were talking about when Tasha Cobbs did an intro to one of her songs, and she was saying that she had to leave someplace, and she didn't know how she was going to get there, and she had to leave within a period of time. And God was telling her, I need you to go. I'm giving you this time frame. And it's like, how we getting there, when we going, how this going to happen. Because see, we see the situation that is placed before us, false evidence appearing real. And we don't see the way out. But see, the thing about God is he don't give you the way out until the day of sometimes. Ask me how I know. Place the money in your hand the day that you're supposed to leave out the door. Within a matter of hours, you're walking out the door. The breakthrough occurs, you walk out, you take the next step. What did Abraham have to do? He had to move. God said, what? Go to a place that I will show you. He didn't say that I'm going to show you every step to get there. You pray over your route and then you walk. Sometimes it's a hard thing to do. Because we want every step and we want it to be as comfortable as possible because we're like, but sometimes it has to be that way. In order for the manifestation of what God needs to happen. It cannot be as simple as you thought that it was going to be. And sometimes it is a simplicity. Certain seasons, if you haven't gone through the wilderness yet, then don't expect that you're going to get the easy part and you haven't experienced wilderness. You have to come through the experience before you can get the victory. You just can't have the victory. You ain't been through the experience. Now, what God will promise you is, now that you've gone through this experience, one, you can see the experience. You've walked through the experience. And now, when I take you back into an experience, don't look at it as it's going to be the exact same experience, because false evidence appears real. And like I said before, that the spirit of fear will keep bringing you back to a level of comfortability that says, I did that before. Last time I did that, it didn't work out well for me, so I'm not moving. And you'll stand in a level of fear, and you be calling, I'm standing for God, and God's like, I told you to move, not stand this time. I need you to move your feet. But it's a safety mechanism of protection to stand still in that place and be like, God, give me an instruction. Remember the man in the Bible that talked about, God, I'm going to need you to fleece. I'm going to need you to fleece the ground. I'm going to need you to give me some glistening moss in the morning. Give me the dew in the morning. God does that. I'm going to need you to give me the this. God does that. God done gave you every sign, every wonder, every miracle, everything. And he's saying, I just need you to move now. Just walk with me. I know you don't understand it because it's still not clear directions, but please just walk with me. Just walk with me. But look, coming back to our main point, most people are not willing to do the work to walk with him because they can't see the steps. And some of them aren't even willing to take the steps if there's too many steps. You telling me I got 56 steps to take? And they're steep steps? No. I told y'all before about my daddy. My daddy has this thing. If you tell him more than 3 steps, he's going to start complaining. And that's some of y'all. I'm so sorry to say it to you like that. But that's some of y'all. You give him more than 3 steps. We're not doing that. No. That's too many steps. I want out the wilderness now. And that's how the enemy catches you up. Oh, you want out of the wilderness now? I'll help you get out the wilderness. But understand, if you go his way, you're going to end up in a trap, rerouted, and end up coming right back to the same thing. Go back and look at my word on supernatural GPS system. So, learn a lesson. Understand that season was a lesson. You passed it. It may not want to let you go. You might start to see the people, the places, and the situations start to close in on you. People start wanting to ask you questions. That's a key factor to let you know that you're in a season that you're about to elevate, because everybody want to know what you're doing, where you're at, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And it's like they're closing in on you because they can sense, they can smell it in the air. They can taste that you're getting ready to leave that situation. And they're like, let me find out what they're up to. And it's one of those situations because we got to stop it. We got to hinder it. We got to... Monitoring spirits come up like crazy when you're about to leave a season, because they're like, I need to know where she's going, because if we can't stop her, we gotta get ahead of when it's God's plans. They can't derail it. They can't. They can delay it, but it can't be derailed. They can make it uncomfortable for you. They can make it annoying for you. They can stop it. And that's the stupidity. They do so much work to try to stop movement forward. All the work that they do to stop movement forward, they could be doing to help themselves move forward. Is it just me? Is it just me? I don't know. But I happen to notice that. Why not? Why not just do work for yourself? Come on now. But you got to be willing to do the work that others won't do in order to get a different result. And people will hate you for that. Because you're willing to be self-aware when they're willing to be self-centered, and you're going to highlight how self-centered they are when you become self-aware. And it's not because you're pointing, ooh, you're self-centered. And then they want to point at you and project on you. No, you're self-centered. You're selfish. No, I'm self-aware. And my self-awareness makes you look bad. Oh, burn. Burn. So, was that everything for this word, Jesus? I think that was everything. And I'm going to come back because I have one more revelation I need to talk to you about. And after that, I'm done for the day. So I will be back in a minute.